So I see a lot of ignorant comments of people just saying all homeless people are just addicts, they just like to drink, they're just lazy, and that's far from the truth. There are many different ways you can become homeless. So let's get into 10 different ways. The first way how you can become homeless is if you have a loved one on this earth or loved ones and they pass away, you can be mentally affected by that and you can break down. And I'm going to give you this story time. This guy, he had his wife and he had his kid, and they got in a car accident. They were coming home and they end up not making it back. And that guy had his wife, his kid, he had a good paying job, he had a car, he had a house, you know, he had everything. And that one incident changed his life from being a normal corporate guy, from no longer having his loved ones in his life. And within a year, that guy went insane. And he said in the interview he was trying to be mentally stable, he was trying to stay strong for them. But you know what, when you can't keep thinking about that situation, you're just thinking about it over and over and over, like what could you have done, what could be better, and stuff like that. And they are the reason why you are living on this earth. That is one way how you can end up homeless, because you just mentally can't take it. I know a lot of us say we're mentally strong, you know, we wouldn't, you know, crash out like that. A lot of us saying we're tough, it don't matter what happened in life, we'll bounce back. Yeah, you can say that now until it actually happens to you. So you just have to think about that. People, mental health is one reason how they can end up homeless on the street, and that's why you can't judge all homeless people. Let's talk about the second reason. The second reason, your house, or let's say your apartment, it can burn down and you don't have any family or friends to even live with or, you know, stay with for a couple of months until you can get back on your feet, and you have no savings on top of that. Maybe you had to use your emergency saving to fix your car tire, to get a brand new vehicle, or to pay some type of bill, you know what I mean? So think about these things before you leave an ignorant comment in the comment section saying, oh, all homeless people are one type of way or they're this type of way. That is not true. You never know what can happen to you. You know, you could just be sleeping and then next thing you know, your entire apartment is on fire. You don't know how it happened. Maybe it could be the downstairs neighbor if you live in an apartment, and they could start the fire and then it reached to your apartment and then your apartment is on fire. God forbid, you know what I mean? So that is a second way how you can become homeless. Let's get into the third way. The third way you could become homeless is you lose your job to other people or to AI. You know, they have a lot of robots nowadays taking people's jobs, especially if you're in the tech field. And let's say you don't have enough skills to keep a good paying job, you know, and now you're falling behind on rent. So let's say your rent, you're paying something cheap, maybe $1,200, you know, and you're making well over $3,000 a month and you're comfortable, you know. What if you lose your job? Do you have 3 to 6 months savings back up to, you know, keep you afloat? And a lot of people don't think like that. Us Americans, we are legit 2 to 3 paychecks away from becoming homeless. And to be honest with you, a lot of us do not have about 5-6 grand in our savings account ready just in case. And I know that's sad, but that's just the world. That's just the way how the world is set up right now. So that is another way you can become homeless. Think about these things before you make these comments. I'm telling you. Let's get into the fourth way how you can become homeless. Let's say you made a bad deal with a car dealership and now you're falling behind on the payment for the car. There are some people out there paying $400 to $500 for their car, and they're going to be paying that for the next 36 months, 48 months. $400 to $500 is outrageous. And you know, the average person don't know too much about a car dealership, so they think, oh, I'm only paying $400 or $500 a month for this vehicle, I'm going to go ahead and take this deal. They take that deal, next thing you know, something comes up and they're falling behind on payments, you know, and then their credit go bad, or you know, they just get in some type of debt because they're like, oh man, I don't know if I should, you know, give this car back, I don't know if I should keep paying it off. And yes, people have become homeless because of car dealerships. You know, that's something we don't think about at all. That's something we don't even put in the back of our mind, like, how did this guy become homeless? Oh, it was a bad car, you know, he made a bad deal. So that is another way how you could become homeless. Another way how you can become homeless, and I'm going to go ahead and give a warning if you want to click off this video what I'm about to say, because this is probably sensitive to some of you, but we're going to talk about it, is domestic violence. Maybe you're relying on that partner for the money, for the finances, and you're in that relationship. Maybe you're staying home mom or you're staying home dad, and they end up becoming abusive. Now they're hitting on you, they're punching you, they're threatening you, you know what I mean? So it's like now you're running to shelter, you're going to domestic violence. And I'm not saying women get it better, but a lot of men, they don't have domestic violence shelters out there for men, you know what I mean? It's mainly more for women. So that's another way you could become homeless. Your partner just turns out to be very abusive, very angry, treating you like you crap, and they know that you're relying on them for the rent or the mortgage or these type of bills, so they're gonna expect you to take their bullying and take their abuse. But you don't have to take that. You can go ahead and leave. And a lot of people, men and women, they become homeless because of domestic violence, and it's even worse when there's children involved, you know what I mean? So just think about that, how people become homeless. A lot of you will say, oh, you can just stick it out. No, everyone's not going to stick it out. If your partner putting hands on you right now, I'm telling you, I don't care if you're a man or woman, I don't care what your sexuality is, leave that relationship right now. And even if you have to become homeless, it's better for you to become homeless on the street than to stay in a home being abused. And that goes for anybody. The next way how you can become homeless is you can get in trouble with the law for a minor offense. I don't know, a speeding ticket, or maybe you stole, which you shouldn't be stealing, but just something minor, and then you lose a lot of privileges. After that, maybe you get a misdemeanor or you get a felony or something, and then you even lose your job, and that makes you become homeless when you lose your job. And then other jobs are not going to want to hire you because they're going to look at your background, are going to say, yo, you got minor offenses, you stole, you ran from the police, you got in a fist fight, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying you should be stealing or getting in fist fights or running from the police. You should not be doing none of that. Please do not do none of that. Obey the law and just trying to lay low. But it happens. Maybe you were a good kid and you was hanging out with the brown crowd. You ran from the police. Now you got a misdemeanor and you lose your job, and you know what I mean? Now you're homeless on the street because of that one incident you had. So that is another way you can become homeless. And I know some of you in the comments probably thinking, well, if you're running from the cops and you're doing crime, then you deserve to be homeless. No, nobody deserves to be homeless. No, I don't agree with that. But let's get into the next subject. The next way how you could become homeless is disability. Maybe you could lose your arm, or you could lose your leg, or some type of freak accident in like a car or at work or something, and you can no longer perform like you used to. And that's one way how you can become homeless. For example, a lot of construction dudes, they're working and they're doing good on a construction job. They fall off a roof and that leg is gone. They got to amputate the leg, and now what? He can't work, and his job is not going to pay him, and now they can't pay them no money or anything. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? You're literally hopping on one leg. Most jobs are not going to accept you unless it's like a remote job where you can do it online or something, or, like a Goodwill, maybe you could be at the cashier sitting down. I don't know. But that is another way how you can become homeless, is disability. And not all disability is visible too. You got to remember, there's some people out there, they're deaf and they have other different disabilities, not just because you lose a leg, but, and I know you can get checks from the government, but let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, those checks from the government can't cover all the bills nowadays. It is 2025, and these government checks that I'm hearing people get, it's not enough. Like, let's just be honest. But let's get into the next way how you can become homeless. The next way you can become homeless is your physical health. So this is different from the actual disability, but maybe you don't have so much of a good eyesight, or maybe you can't lift heavy pounds because maybe you're an older person. Let's say you're 65 plus, but you still got to work because, maybe you don't have enough money or whatever saved up. That's another way how you can become homeless. If you can't do a physical demanding job, or, you just can't really do a lot of the jobs nowadays. And it's sad to say, but when I was back in New York, there was a lot of old homeless people on the street, men and women, and it's like, that's sad, but that's just how society is in America. America don't care. America just say, hey, if you can't work, you're going to be homeless on the street. So just think about that, y'all, because a lot of people, they don't have sympathy. They don't have, they don't have sympathy for people. Like, dude, I seen legit homeless people at 18 years old, and I seen homeless people at like 70 years old. So please, think about these things before you say negative comments. Growing up in a foster home, maybe you were bouncing home to home, and when the government say you turn 18, or if you turn 21, that's when you're on your own. I don't know, some states may be different, but most states are, when you turn 18, that's it, you're an adult, and the government lets you go. They put you in college or something, and they say go get a job, and that's it. And a lot of people have become homeless that way. I have heard stories of foster kids saying maybe they were getting abused, or their family was racist, or they was just treated bad, and as soon as they turned 18, their foster family just got rid of them. Was like, all right, we're done with you, go, you're adult now. You know what I mean? And people did not ask to be adopted. People, these are babies, you know what I mean? And they grew up in the system. So how can you blame someone who grew up in the system and saying, oh, you're lazy? Like, dude, they didn't even get a shot at life. Their parents legit gave them up, and now they were bouncing home to home in foster care. You know what I mean? So think about that. Not everybody have a real mom and real dad that told them this is the real world, this is what you got to do, this is how you got to work, etc., etc. Everybody don't have a fair shot in this life, and I need some of you to understand that. And I'm only talking to the ignorant people who think all homeless people are just druggies and addicts. Let's get into another way how you can become homeless, and this is going to sound crazy, but yes, you can become homeless because of this. Having a kid. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you shouldn't be having a kid. And yes, I agree with you. But some people, you know, they're young, they're just goofy, and they just want to, make love and stuff. And they end up having a baby. When they were solo, maybe they were doing good. But as soon as that kid come in their life, that's how you can become homeless, because you don't know how to manage your finances, especially if you're like a 21-year-old and you're just having a baby and you're working at Walmart part-time plus going to school. 9 times out of 10, if you're going to be homeless, you know what I mean? Especially if you don't get along with your family or you don't have any family or friends. That is just another way how you can become homeless. And I know it's crazy. I know you should not be having a kid, like I said, but you got to put that in consideration. We make mistakes. We're human beings. Yes, some of us make more mistakes than the others, but I have seen people become homeless as soon as that kid entered their life, and it's crazy, And I got to throw in a bonus one for you. This is the last way how you could become homeless, and it's very sad to see, because this is America. We are the greatest country in the world, and it's sad to see our war veterans. Yes, that is the last one. Our war veterans, when they come back, they don't know how to act. A lot of times they go mentally insane, and the system won't help them 9 times out of 10, and it's thousands of them, and I mean thousands. I think I seen one in Dallas, or was it in Austin? They have a legit homeless camp full of all vets, and they have their American flags up, and it's embarrassing, dude. You know what I mean? It's embarrassing for this country to be treating the vets like that. How you go to war, come back to your country, end up homeless? You can just become homeless like that of just things you've seen in your life. You know what I mean? It's like, wow. Just think about that. Think about different ways how people could become homeless. And if you became homeless, go ahead and tell us in the comment section down below. Let us know your story. I know some of you have some amazing stories. I actually have read your stories, some of you in the comments. Just say how you became homeless. There's many different ways. I only put 10 in here, gave you that bonus 11, just because that's all I can think of right now. But there are many, many, many ways. And it's sad, dude. The homeless population is going to go up and up and up. And the government, 9 times out of 10, they don't care, dude. They're just like, oh, whatever, figure it out, make it work, do better. So you just gotta think about that before you make comments and judge people. Hear people out, hear their story, you know what I mean? And that's actually one thing I do want to do on this channel. I actually want to interview some of you, or former homeless people, or current homeless people, and I want to hear people's stories, because everybody has a story who was on the streets or about to become on the streets. Everybody has a situation, a story, all have different lives. It's not because you was just drinking and smoking. No, there's many other different factors of why people are homeless on the street. But that's all we got to say for the video. God bless you. I love you. I really appreciate the support. I know I have been slacking on the uploads. I say that every video. I know I'm just busy in life. You guys know my schedule, school, work, business, just trying to do everything and be the best I can in life. And I just want to say once again, I love you. I appreciate you for watching. More videos on the way. Make sure you share this knowledge. Make sure you tell people about this video so people can open up their eyes and see the homeless situation in a different light, because I feel like 90% of the population only see the homeless people as crazy, lazy, and addicted people, and that's not true. It's not true at all. But that's all I gotta say. Peace out. Make sure you stay humble. Make sure you stay positive. Make sure you stay safe out there. God bless you. I love you. And bye-bye.